Hey guys, today we're going to be comparing two of Canon's best manual 35mm SLRs, the A1 and the AE1 Program. So without further ado, let's get to it. Both the A1 and the AE1 were consumer-level cameras available from Canon back in the early 80s, and they were Canon's attempt at capturing a larger chunk of market share by offering far more electronic and automatic features than their rivals Nikon and Minolta did. This actually worked out pretty well for them, and since these cameras sold so well, getting one today, 40 years later, is actually pretty easy. Both cameras use Canon's FD lens mount, which is backwards compatible with its predecessor, the FL mount. This means both cameras have a massive library of lenses covering anything you could possibly want to photograph. They also both use the same 6V PX28A battery, and thankfully, these batteries are still readily available today from Amazon or even most Walmarts. Both are compatible with Canon's excellent speedlight range of flashes for automatic exposure metering with the flash. The AE1 Program, while a few years newer, still uses the same electromagnetic cloth shutter as the A1. What this means is that the shutter speeds for both top out at 1/1000th of a second, and if you're using flash, you'll only be able to go up to 1/60th of a second. It's also worth mentioning the shutter squeak these cameras get from the oil evaporating on their internal gears. It's pretty easy to fix though if you're handy with a precision screwdriver, so don't let that deter you from getting either of these cameras. So how do they differ? Well, in a word, features. The A1 comes equipped with a 2 or 10-second self-timer in addition to the shutter lock and active modes. It also has a switch for making as many multiple exposures as you want, although you can kind of do this on the AE1 by holding down the film release button on the bottom. It also features all 4 major camera modes: program, shutter priority, aperture priority, and full manual. If you set your FD lenses to the green A, you can adjust your shutter or aperture setting with the convenient knob on the front of the camera. You also get long exposures of 4, 8, 15, or 30 seconds. The AE1, on the other hand, drops almost all of that, offering just a 10-second self-timer, program, shutter priority, or full manual modes, and long exposures are limited to 2 seconds without using the bulb mode. Coming over to the left side, the A1 has a toggle switch for the viewfinder display, more on that in a minute, an exposure compensation wheel that goes 2 stops in either direction, and the ISO selection wheel that covers everything between ISO 12800 and ISO 6. Unfortunately, the silver button you have to press to spin the ISO selector wheel is so infuriatingly small that it becomes a chore every time you need to use it. The AE1 just has an ISO selector covering everything from ISO 3200 to 12, and it is so much easier to turn. Moving on to the viewfinder displays. The A1 has LED readouts similar to a calculator of the era that tell you the exact shutter speed and aperture that are selected. This is especially useful for vetting what the camera automatically selects when it's in program mode. The AE1, on the other hand, just displays the selected aperture. Also, for what it's worth, the AE1 Program is supposed to have a brighter viewfinder thanks to some newer technology it used, but personally I can barely tell a difference. Lastly, the A1 has this little switch to block out the viewfinder. I don't know what this is for, maybe infrared photography or something, but it has it and the AE1 Program doesn't, so there. Aside from the difference in color, that about wraps it up. Ergonomics are great on both, and for some reason the A1 usually sells for cheaper than the AE1 Program, so to me it's a no-brainer, get the A1. But both are excellent examples of what a manual 35mm SLR should be. And before someone complains about the electronics in the A1 being unreliable, let me say this. If the camera is in good shape and they're still working now after 40 years, they're probably going to keep working for the next 40 years at this point. If you want to see some more videos featuring either of these cameras, I'd recommend checking out Wild We Roam's videos that have the A1 in them, or Sarah Dietschy's videos that have the AE1 Program in them. So which camera did you decide on? Let me know in the comments section down below. Don't forget to hit that like button on the way out and consider subscribing if you'd like to see what I make next. We'll see you guys next time.